Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
Welcome back to America's Heroes Group, Roundtable, Veterans Court with Judge Hooks, Attorney Lori Roper, and Attorney Brian Scanlon. Three outstanding attorneys and a judge. So make sure that you listen to what they have to say because they are on your side as a veteran. They have been doing some wonderful things at Veterans Court. Today is Saturday, July 24th, 2021. Our host is Cliff Kelly, who is the governor of Talk Radio. I am his co-host, Colonel Dr. Damon Arnold. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith, and our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega, Scouts Honor Productions. And our panelist, Lori Roper, is a Cook County Supervisor, attorney, and she is with the Problem Solving Courts. And also we have Brian Scanlon, who is a Cook County Assistant Attorney, Public Defender Office. So he is on your side fighting for your justice. And we have as a guest with them Sharone R. Mitchell, Jr., a Cook County new public defender. So it looks like we have sprouting great attorneys over there. And today's discussion, we're going to be talking about the Veterans Treatment Court and the wonderful work they've been doing. I've been hearing wonderful stories coming out of there and success stories all over the place. So I'm going to start out with Lori, and you can tell us a little bit about what's going on, and then Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, good.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm really excited about our guest today. Our guest is the public defender of Cook County. He is Sharone Mitchell. He is the public defender, and everything that we do in court is technically in his name. So when we are in court representing clients, we do so in the name of Cook County, of course, but also specifically in the name of Sharone Mitchell. I'm really excited to have him here, and I'm really glad that we were able to get him on because he is so busy being the new public defender. So, Brian, you got anything else to add?
Absolutely. I met Sharone, Public Defender Mitchell, back when he was a young attorney working at 26th Street, and he was a joy to work with. And I would like to say, without speaking for Sharone, that his philosophy and everything he's done before this and what he's doing now is very much so in line with Veterans Treatment Court, about returning the veteran to their original mission, returning them to their community. And without telling too much more about Sharone, I would like Sharone to say a few words about himself, and then maybe I could help guide the audience into meeting a new face of the Public Defender's Office.
Yeah. Can I say one thing, Brian? Sharone,
yeah.
You know, everyone's calling you young. I know you had to have some time under your belt to become what you are. But I'm an old man, so I'm glad to have you on board.
Well, thank you all so much for having me. WBN, just an amazing station. And speaking of amazing, having Supervisor Roper and Attorney Scanlon here, these two are leaders in our office, and we are so excited to be providing services to all our specialty courts. So I'm excited to be here. I am new on the gig, but quite frankly, the job is much easier when you have leaders like Attorney Scanlon, like Supervisor Roper, and I'm just excited to get on and talk a little bit about some of the things that we're offering to these courts.
Great.
Well, one thing I would like to know from Sharone, what really brought you to this new holistic treatment of the community and to our office, originally and now as, I guess, the captain of the Helm?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm a lifelong Chicagoan. I've lived on the South Side nearly my entire life. And when you grow up as a young black man on the South Side, I think you understand very quickly that the criminal justice system is really complicated. And it's not just about, the system putting, quote-unquote, people who are bad in jail or prison. We know that the system is biased. So I always wanted to fight for my friends, fight for myself, fight the system to make sure that our folks had freedom, they were treated fairly in the criminal justice system. So my first job was working at the Public Defender's Office first as a clerk in law school, clerked for some wonderful attorneys, and then went on to work as a full-time attorney in the public defender's office. Left for a second, went to go run a nonprofit, and now I'm back at the public defender's office. And you say the word lead, and definitely I'm a leader, but I think it's much how many great attorneys, support staff, investigators, specialists that we have. You know, those are the folks that are fighting day in and day out. You know, talking about criminal justice reform is cool, and lots of people are talking about it now, but our staff has been fighting the fight their entire careers, and I just have to give it up to them. They do it every day through pandemic or not, and it's just beautiful to be a part of this team.
Excellent. Unless the Colonel has a question, I think, Public Defender Mitchell, this whole new philosophy of alternative lawyering, where we don't have to be like in a boxing match, where we draw the individual. And for anybody listening now, if your loved one is a veteran with problems in the military system, could you explain how important this is to return the veteran to their own community where they grew up, as opposed to, as obviously, warehousing somebody their whole life?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that it's important for public defenders to first off, you know, be an advocate in the courtroom. You know, there are legal proceedings, and it's on us as attorneys, as public defenders, to ensure that folks' rights are respected. But it has to go more than that. And I think the Veterans Court is an example of public defenders not just being there to represent them in legal proceedings, but also to try to get them on the right foot. So the Veterans Court does a lot of great jobs. It's talking about, you know, assisting folks, you know, with, you know, getting them VA services, providing folks with housing, making sure that people are on the right track of treatment, really connecting folks to where they were before they were caught up. You know, when we're talking about veterans, we're talking about people who put their lives on the line, right? Put their lives on the line for us, right? So if we're going to put them, you know, through the system, it can't just be about putting somebody in jail, or putting somebody in prison, or putting somebody on probation. What we want to do is we want to help defend folks. We also want to get the people on the right track. It's good for the community, it's good for the client, and it's good for the entire system.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I mean, I tell you, because I'm looking at all the things that are going on right now in Chicago and across the country with all the violence that's going on out there. And there seems to be something that you're doing that is very different by taking people out of the potential for, you know, perpetuating crime, recidivism, making sure that people have the right path. And I think if you give the people the right path, they can actually follow that and become more productive. And especially veterans, you know, there's a core and honor code that they have within them already. And whatever put them off the track to get into trouble or whatever, there's still a core that you can go back to and polish and make it back into that diamond that they were when they were in service. So I'm just really, you know, floored by what you do. And we just had, actually, we're dedicating a show this afternoon to a fallen veteran who was killed in Hyde Park. He served 2 tours in Vietnam. I just came from his funeral service before the show, and it was just amazing. It's just it's like a knife in my heart, you know, as another veteran that's a family member. And so those people that you're helping, you're actually helping my family, and you're helping the family of all the veterans who are listening. So I just have to thank you and applaud you for what you're doing.
Well, you know, it's the entire office and it's the entire system. You know, we are moving toward a place where it's not just, again, about, you know, finding somebody guilty or finding somebody innocent. It is really about making sure people have the things they need to succeed in our society. So folks like Attorney Scanlon, Supervisor Roper have been doing this for far longer than I've been at the Helm, right? You know, this is something that the Public Defender's Office, going back, you know, administration after administration, have been dedicated to. And what we really hope is that all courts look like this. You know, we have a number of specialty courts, like veterans courts, mental health courts, and drug courts. But really the goal is to make sure that every single court is at a place where folks can get services, and it's not just about punishment, it's about rehabilitation. If we're going to spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on the court system, it shouldn't just be about, the question shouldn't be about whether we're locked up or we're team. It's about whether our community can get better. And we look at ourselves in the Public Defender's Office as an asset to the community, not just defending folks' rights, but also making sure that our clients get the things they need, because, again, we all are living in this community.
I love the way you put that in a historical perspective. So what's your new old phone number and a way of contacting your services?
Say that one more time.
What's your new way of, 'cause this is a new phone number probably for you, but it's an old phone number because you were talking about the historical significance of what people have been doing. So,
yeah, exactly.
So how can they contact you or find out more about your services? I just want to put that out one time. We're going to do it a couple of times.
Yeah,
you
so
can
you can
also
look up
call 26th Street. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say you can look up Cook County Public Defender's Office online. We're on social media. The Cook County Public Defender's Office is we're public defenders. So when you go into court and you can't afford an attorney, you're assigned a public defender, right? So, if you can check out some of this information online on our website. And, Brian, if you've got any more information about veterans courts, we can make sure that we can get this over to our team over at WVON so they have the information that they need.
Absolutely. To start with, any veteran out there is absolutely more, or family member, or listening audience who wants more information may call me directly, or I speak for Lori, call Lori directly at 773-674-3217, and that's for 26 in California at the Layton Courthouse. But we can also make referrals for phone numbers to the other courthouses at Veterans Treatment Court. And as I really listened to Public Defender Mitchell talk about how, on our side, are we going to make the streets safer? One of those is, and I very much so know Sharone is committed to expunging records, returning every one of our specialty courts people, especially our veterans, to the community where they came from to work again. And I'm not sure if you're working on anything, Public Defender Mitchell, about expungements or cleaning up records, but I really feel that's such a great, important part of our program here for Veterans Treatment Court.
Yeah, I think that we're looking to expand our role, and, it's budget season, right? So we definitely need dollars to make this happen. So I would encourage everybody that's listening to call their commissioners, ensure that their commissioners are supporting a healthy Cook County Public Defender's budget. At this point, the Public Defender's Office receives less funding from the clerk's office, the chief judge's office, the state attorney's office, the sheriff's office. But we have a commitment from President Parkwinkle to support our office. I talked to many commissioners there supporting us too. And with more resources, we can do more. So we do offer those services in the Veterans Court. There are other agencies that provide, those type of record services. But we definitely want to continue that work, and we can expand that work with more support in terms of a stronger budget.
Yeah, and also, I'm sorry, and also regarding getting community support, Public Defender Mitchell in our office is committed to making partnerships with other organizations. We recently have become a partner with Director Dr. Terrell Odom with the Office of the Military Affiliated Communities at the University of Chicago. That will enable our office to offer more services for the clients, the veterans, and it's more specific to their needs. That's one thing about these specialty courts, and that's what's so wonderful about the fact that Public Defender Mitchell is so involved in the specialty courts, because it's not one size fits all. We look at the person, what they have going on, and the judges, the state's attorneys, everyone in the courtroom, of course our boss, Public Defender Mitchell, and Brian and I, and Ivana Santilli and Vanessa Ellis, who are also attorneys who are involved with veterans court, are committed to giving our clients the best services possible. So we do get a chance gratefully so, to partner with other organizations that can help us do better.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was wondering, one of the things I was wondering about is, and I had to applaud both you, Brian, and you, Lori, because he was given a historical perspective. And what I love about Sharone is that the way he's talking, many people go into work now, and the first thing they do is complain about the job and complain about this and complain about that, and things aren't working fine, the computer systems or whatever. But it sounds like you set the home up for someone to come in and to do something for our veterans. So I really, really, really love and appreciate that part of it. But, Sharone, tell me, it sounds like you're new on in this position, but it sounds like you've been around the block and you have an understanding about what's going on out there. So what motivates you? What makes you excited about going every day and working, to help the veterans?
Well, I'm just really excited to provide refuge for people who are caught up in the justice system. And I'm really excited to work for so many great attorneys, investigators, support staff. Left to its own devices, I believe that the criminal justice system will lock people up and throw away the key, especially with people who have a similar skin tone to me. Public defenders every day go and try to fight and turn around that natural reaction. We are the folks that are out there demanding that folks have evidence before they incarcerate people. And if somebody is guilty of something, then they shouldn't just, be thrown away. We are the folks that are in the system that are fighting for changes. The system has stopped up so much of our talent, so much of our dollars. It's robbed us of so much. And I'm just so proud. And I say again, I'm working for the 625 people that we have in our office that have dedicated their careers, I think, to making, Cook County a safer place, a more thriving place. And I'm just so honored and so blessed. And we are here every day fighting for folks like.
Oh, fantastic.
That's wonderful. Just a couple things. Public Defender Mitchell, I share your enthusiasm. When I would go to Veterans Treatment Court and I would find a veteran who qualifies, the first thing they ask me is, will I be able to do this? And in the middle, they want to know, am I still doing this? And then the wonderful thing is they turn that last phrase around at the end to, I am doing this, and I am going to graduate. And as you know, we have a graduation ceremony, and I'd like you to come to the next one. The last show we did, we had the Pat Tillman Foundation, and they, on an individual basis, when you talk about funding, they would like to start allowing our veteran graduates to apply for scholarships to enhance their lives. It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. If you'd like to respond to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I would love to attend, but I'll just say this. If you're at home and you're encouraged, the reality of the situation is, and I know we were just talking about being positive. This isn't negative, but this is something for us to look for. There are, a handful of courts, that do this, and it's great work. But what we really need to do is expand programs like this. Programs like this work, right? They are helpful. But too often we limit these programs to a select few. So they're highly successful for the folks that actually get into them, but it's hard for folks to get into these programs, So every courtroom should look like the veterans courtroom. Every courtroom should look like the mental health courtroom. So again, I would encourage people to call their county commissioners, and ask, how can we get more programs like this? I'm listening to the show. I like what I hear. How can we make sure every courtroom all across the county looks like this? Why can't this be available to folks out in the suburbs, in Markham, in Maywood, in Bridgeview, all across the county? And, I would very much appreciate it. And I think the veterans of Cook County would appreciate it. Certainly, we would appreciate your support in demanding that this be more often not the exception, but the rule.
One question I have, Brian. I don't think I've ever asked this, Lori, Brian, or Sharone, but if you go for a comp and pen examination, the thing that you can do for the attorneys is actually get your medical records together and have those things in order. So that is there a similar thing in your situation with the Veterans Court, where veterans, if they make sure they bring the right proper documentation to you, or is there anything that they can do to help and assist in the process?
Well, one thing that they can do, and you, of course, Colonel, know this to be one of the most important documents is the DD-214.
DD-214, yes.
That is the key to the kingdom, as you know.
Yes.
And with services for the veterans. But again, if that particular veteran has a mental health issue, it would be helpful to have those records so we can make sure that they are getting the proper services, because, again, we do service some veterans who have less than honorable discharges. So they won't go to the VA for services, but they would get services through TAS. So TAS would need those records to try to make sure that they're getting the best possible treatment for their needs. So, yes, if they have mental health records, or even if they remember the hospital where they were, we can always send a subpoena. We can always ask for a court order. We can always try to get those records. So, again, and sometimes people move around. People are so transient, so it's so hard to keep actual physical records. So if they do have at least a hospitalization or maybe a diagnosis that they recall that they were diagnosed, those things do help in terms of us steering them in the right direction and get the treatment to suit their needs.
And I'd just like to add one quick little thing that oftentimes when I was in the mornings servicing Veterans Treatment Court, I would go to the various courtrooms because there is some shame when some people are, some of our service members are discharged from the military with less than honorable, so they won't tell you right away. And it's like, please tell me, as long as you went through basic training, as we would inform Public Defender Mitchell, we will, maybe previously you didn't get services at the VA, but we can upgrade your status. We have part of our team in Veterans Treatment Court is all about upgrading your status. We have our investigators in our Public Defender's office who work for Public Defender Mitchell who will, through subpoena, get the medical records if I have a vague time frame. A lot of our veterans are older, so we have to dig deeper. But we will find that information, and we will go that extra mile.
Oh, fantastic. I want to give that phone number again, the 773-674-3217. Write that down, keep it. And, we're running out of time, but every time I do this show with all of you, with Lori and Brian, I look around and I say, what happened to the time? I'm not sure if I'm getting older and I'm missing these blanks in time, but we always are pleased and very happy to have you on. So if there's a final message you want to give, Lori, Brian, or Sharone, why this is something important, and even our homeless veterans, right, that they have access to these services, because sometimes you have to have a street address to get any kind of services, city services or whatever, but this is a little different. So you do take care of our veterans no matter where they're living. So maybe you can talk to that a little bit.
I'll go first because I am not the expert in attorney Scanlon and Supervisor Roper are definitely that, but I just want to say that they work so hard. I want to thank them for really supporting our veterans. Folks are giving their all. They've given their lives for this country. And to come back and be disrespected, to come back to be treated like dirt in the justice system just isn't right. So that's why we have programs like this, and that's why we have these great attorneys that are fighting for their rights. So, get into the details, but I just want to thank them for their work. They do this. It's not their job. They're here on a weekend, and they're during the week fighting for our clients. And I just want to thank them for all that they do for our veterans. We all owe them, a great deal of gratitude.
That is phenomenal. And I'll go ahead, Lori. I think
Oh.
Brian's pointing to you.
Oh, I was going to say again, we try to meet the vet where he is, and if there is there are programs for homeless veterans. We just need to be able to get access to them, and just know that again, if you find yourself with a criminal case at 26th Street, just know that we understand and we want to help you. That's it.
And my last comment is one of my programs that's near and dear to my heart is helping the LGBTQ community who may have been discharged under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We're still here for you. If you did your basic training, we're going to upgrade you. We'll get you back to the status and that true mission that you know who you are.
Well, America's Heroes Group has to thank our Veterans Court with Judge Hooks, Attorney Lori Roper, and Attorney Brian Scanlon. And now with the newbie, we have Sharone Mitchell, Jr. We are looking for great things from you, but you are also walking in giant footsteps. And so really, really good. Thank you for all you do for our veterans, and thank you for your service to our country. You're upholding the Constitution. I remember when I was the director for the Illinois Department of Public Health, one of the legislators asked me in the second week of the job, why did you take this job? You could make more money outside. And I said, for 3 words, 3 simple words. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, the words above your chamber, we the people. I'm here as a public servant. I'm here to help people, and that's what my mission in life is. So thank you for taking on that mission so valiantly. And we're going to go on. We're going on to a commercial break.